welcome to week 4 of the Long Dog vlog. I might have forgotten to film this intro card until the last possible moment. My name is Brandy. I am the indie dyer behind Long Dog Yarn. You can find me on Instagram at Long Dog Yarn. That's where I'm most active on social media from a day-to-day basis. This is my weekly vlog where I share my knitting and dyeing adventures along with whatever other fun things I might get up to throughout the week here in Los Angeles. So let's see what week 4 has in store. Today is my first day of this work week that I can dedicate a full day to the dye studio. I've been really busy prepping for trunk shows and just running around all over the place, which is not my usual work schedule. So I'm excited to have a day just for dyeing. I've got to finish up some custom and dyed to order listings or yarns that need to get sent out this weekend. So that's number 1 on the list. And then once that's finished, I'm going to charge headlong into dyeing for my next shop update, which I haven't set a date for because I just have to figure out how much I can get done and what kind of time frame I'm looking at. But the shop update, I'm going to be focusing on my sparkle sock, which has not gotten a lot of love since I introduced it last year. I think I've only done like 1 major update with it. So it's about time that it gets some new colors dyed up. So I'm really excited to be working with my sparkle sock in the dye studio again because I really enjoy working with it in my knitting. This base that I bought is a blend of silver lurex, super fine, or I can't remember what the exact terms, extra fine, merino, and nylon. So it is really soft. It is probably the softest sock yarn that I offer, and it knits up really beautifully in socks at least. I haven't knit with it for anything else, though a sweater would be pretty fabulous. But I chose this base for a couple reasons when I was looking for a sparkle base, because I've talked about before, I really enjoy my sparkly yarns. But I went with this one because I really like the fact that the lurex is woven through the actual ply of the yarn, which to me makes it stand out more in the final project than the stellina, which tends to be, it kind of is like little bits of confetti that are stuck in the yarn, so it can kind of stick out when you're working with it. So it doesn't show up as much as sparkle in the final knit project, in my opinion. So that's one reason I like how it looks in the finished item. But the second reason is purely selfish for my own dyeing, and that reason is because stellina dulls when you use citric acid, which is my primary acid that I use to set my dyes in the dye pans. So if I wanted to use the stellina base, I would have to switch to vinegar to be my source of acid. And one, I don't have a place to store large vats of vinegar, and citric acid comes in powdered form, so it's much lighter and easier to store. And 2, I am dyeing in my kitchen in my little apartment, and vinegar, when you heat it up, is a smelly mess, and I did not want to have to live in a hot vinegar house to be able to have sparkly yarn. So when I found a sock yarn that had a lurex sparkle, I was very happy and meant I could finally have some sparkly yarn that I could dye up. So the lurex also does not dull with the citric acid. So more sparkly, and I can keep my flow of dyeing, makes Brandy a happy dyer. So I'm going to be dyeing up a bunch of these beauties today. Most are going to be on my last unicorn colors because unicorns and sparkle are meant for each other.
I'm a little worried about the fit on my Elton cardigan. The body seems like it's too short, even though I measured it. So I finished the first sleeve and I'm going to give it a block before starting on the second one, just so I can see how much it grows during walking and to hopefully assuage my fears here.
Ready? Come on. Good boy. Look what came in the mail. My trays for the rack are here. I got 5. Since I have 5 of these pans, that seems smart, and I think that's all that can fit on this rack anyway. And I like the option of being able to slide the pans out on here and being able to reach in and get the yarn when it cools off and I put it into the rinsing bath. So things are going pretty well. I'm starting to get the hang of this. Right now I'm mostly using it as a cooling rack because I've only been needed to dye up batches of 4. But hopefully starting next week, I can amp up the production line and start dyeing in bigger batches. I'm headed out the door this morning. I've got my trunk show at Make 1 today, so I'm gonna head over there. Had some last minute preparations, some last minute requests for a couple skeins of sparkle sock, so I had to finish those up this morning, and now we're on our I got a couple of fun things in the mail this week, but I haven't had a chance to sit down and chat about them until today. The first batch of goodies that came in the mail were 2 skeins of yarn from Valkyrie Fibers. These are self-striping gumballs, and Lauren, the dyer behind Valkyrie Fibers, has been doing a series of Tolkien-inspired colorways, but I just now came across them, even though I think she's been doing them for a while now. So I snatched up a pair that she had in her shop. I got Smog because the colors were just beautiful. I really love these burnt oranges and purples. And then the second colorway I got was Eowyn's colorway. And Eowyn is one of my favorite characters, and I also loved these pretty pastels. So these arrived, I think, on Thursday, and really excited about them. Lauren is also hosting a Middle-earth / Tolkien inspired knit-along. I think it's going on all year long. So I will definitely be casting on one of these pretties to join in on that knit along. And today in the mail, I got a fun package from Jimmy Bean's Wool, and that is a Namaste train case. I first heard about Namaste knitting accessories and bags at Stitches SoCal, but I didn't get a chance to shop their goodies while I was there. So when I saw Jimmy Bean's had some in stock, I jumped on it, even though I don't need this at all. But I couldn't help myself. So I got the train case, which I just love the idea of a knitting train case, because I do so much traveling in my glamorous lifestyle. But it's just so cute, and I love the vintage callback of it, and I couldn't help myself. I went with teal for my color, but they have several other color options in stock. And I mean, look at this thing. It's got a little guide for your yarn on the side. It's got a magnetic closure, and the whole top here is magnetized, so you can hold your pattern on there. You can hold this little accessory bag that it comes with on there, sort of. And look at, lots of room on the inside. You can definitely fit, I would say, probably 2+ skeins in here comfortably with a project. So probably like a shawl-sized case. So I don't know how much use I'll actually get out of it, but I couldn't help myself. Today is all about prepping for a shop update. I've got one scheduled for tomorrow morning, and there's lots that needs to be done. I've got over 60 skeins of sparkle sock to twist up. I've got to get them all photographed. I've got to get the listings put into the shop, and yeah, that's going to take a while. And if I can get all of that finished, I would like to get my newsletter scheduled tonight. We'll see. I've also got to film the knitting segment for the vlog today. It's gonna be a busy day. Nothing like a full day to kick your butt back into the work week after a long weekend. But I've got something to look forward to. I just booked my flights for a vacation in Puerto Rico. Andy is presenting at a scientific conference there at the end of February, and I'm going to be tagging along on the tail end of that to take a quick trip, about 3 days. I'm really excited. I haven't gone on a proper vacation in a really long time, so I'm pretty excited because I'm a nerd to actually dive in and look at stuff to check out while I'm in Puerto Rico. So I've got that to look forward to at least, but I've got to get all this work done first. So I bought myself another new little toy for the shop. I got a Foldio, which is a little portable, foldable photo studio. I got the middle size. It is pops up to a 15 by 15 inch cube. Comes with LED lights that are dimmable, which is pretty cool, and some backgrounds, and it's basically everything you need for a little photo studio except your camera. So I'm gonna test this out on product photos for tomorrow's shop update. I was getting pretty tired of having inconsistent lighting in my product photos, and it's the #1 thing I wanted to work on. So we're gonna give this a try. Seems like this year's started off as a year for trying to improve and streamline things in the shop. I didn't really set out with that in mind when this year started, but there's not a better time than at the beginning to kind of make some changes and move forward from there. So hopefully this guy will help out on color consistency and better photos for the shop. For this week's knitting roundup, I have 3 projects to share with you that I've been working on. First is my Elton cardigan, which I really wanted to get finished for this week's vlog, and I was so close, but I'm just one neckline away from being done on this guy. I finished the button bands last night, so just this top neck ribbing needs to be done, although I also noticed last night after I had finished up that I knit 1 extra stripe repeat on the left sleeve, so it is a tiny bit longer than the right sleeve. What I think I'm going to do is just rip out the ribbing on the right sleeve and do an extra repeat. Because in all honesty, when I tried on this cardie, sorry for the construction noises, they've been very noisy today, but I have to get this finished and I'm running out of daylight. So when I tried on the cardigan after I blocked it earlier this week, the sleeve was a tiny bit shorter than I optimally would have liked. So I'm taking this as a sign from the universe, and I'm gonna go back and make it a teeny bit longer, and then it'll be perfect. So this will hopefully be finished and ready to show off on next week's vlog. I've also done some knitting on my granito, but it doesn't particularly look any different than last week. I haven't reached the ribbing of the body yet, so I'm not going to show that off this week. But I have also made progress on both pairs of socks that were on my needles. So my vanilla socks that I'm making with the Leading Men Fiber Arts BFL sock, which is, their base is called Spotlight, I believe, has got some progress. I've finished up the heels and made some progress on the legs. This got a good amount of knitting done in this weekend because I took it with me to the movie theater when we went to go see Mary Poppins. Socks are my go-to movie theater knitting because they're very easy to do in the dark. So that's probably when the majority of this foot knitting got done, the movie theater. And my socks that I'm knitting up with the Knox Yarn Company yarn are also past the heels now. So I didn't want to throw off the little striping that I'm getting with this yarn. So for the heels, I went ahead and used a contrast heel. I put in just some scrap yarn I had of my sock yarn in the Midnight Affair colorway. And I might toss that onto the toes as well because I like how it's looking with the yarn. And for both of these socks, I am using a standard short row heel. I prefer German short rows when I'm working up my heels and for any short row situation, really. And I like garter heels on my socks just because the texture is like a fun little whimsical thing to work, and I like how it looks. So those both made a little bit of progress. I always enjoy working the heel turns on my socks because it's like something that breaks up the monotony of stockinette. So now that both of those have got their heels finished, you can start placing your bets for which sock you think is actually going to be finished first. Just see which way the wind takes me on that. I'm not sure. So my knitting goals for next week are definitely to finish up Elton and hopefully to finish the body of my granito sweater. So we'll see how far we get next week.